Good evening, you're watching the news on Croatian television. After it was revealed yesterday that Agrokor owes some 5.3 billion euro, Prime Minister Andrej Plenković said today that the process of restructuring and consolidating Agrokor was ongoing. He emphasized that the most important thing was to preserve jobs and to ensure the stability of Croatia's economy. The PM added that inactivity, which would have led to bankruptcy, or nationalization, which would have transferred the burden to taxpayers, were never realistic options, and that the only alternative was to create a legal framework for appointing an emergency administrator.
That was the key, and this is how government reacted. We acted responsibly and averted a crisis. The point is to have someone at the helm who knows where he is going, and that's what we did. Now we are coming to those things that happened in the past. And if there's any indication of wrongdoing or criminal activity, then the other institutions that have been tasked with thoroughly investigating the matter and initiating criminal proceedings if needed will step in.
Prime Minister Andrej Plenković was asked today to comment on the forming of a new parliamentary majority and if a grand coalition between the HDZ and SDP was possible. The PM said that it was far too early to talk about a grand coalition and that as the largest party in parliament, the HDZ would turn its attention to forming a new majority only after the May 21st local elections.
On the national level, the HDZ has adopted 3 decisions. The first was to cut ties with Most, after they backed the SDP initiative to destabilize the finance minister at a time when the results of his work were very positive. Second, to open dialogue with all parliamentary parties for the purpose of reconfiguring the parliamentary majority. And third, if that isn't possible, to hold new elections.
Speaking at the New Europe Business Forum in Zagreb today, Felix Winekens from the Standard & Poor's rating agency said that if Croatia is to regain an investment-grade rating, it must reduce its public debt, implement public sector reforms, and maintain political stability. He also addressed the Agrokor issue.
From an economic perspective, we think the impact is manageable. I think the Croatian National Bank estimates that the crisis with Agrokor will reduce GDP growth by 0.3, 0.4% this year. So that's probably also our baseline scenario. But at the same time, this comes at a time when the rest of the economy in Croatia is actually doing quite well, and we're just at the beginning of the tourism season. So all of this should help the Croatian economy. What we are monitoring more is how the situation with Agrokor has led to the political turmoil that I just talked about. And so we would like to see with the government being able to form a more stable coalition quickly, and then also let professionals and the advisors deal with the restructuring of Agrokor.
Croatia's largest chain of bookstores, Algoritam, is on the verge of bankruptcy. The company's accounts have been frozen and all of the 31 of its retail outlets have been closed. Its collapse would be a major blow to the already troubled publishing industry. Talks with creditors are underway to try and salvage the business.
There are 2 scenarios. One is that the debentures are revoked and we continue doing business as usual, and there's not much chance of that. The other is that we try to save the bookstores and jobs.
Turning to news from the region, neighboring Slovenia is fearful of another wave of illegal migrants crossing the Croatian-Slovenian border with the coming of the summer months. According to Slovenia's statistics, some 1,300 migrants have applied for refugee status over the past 18 months, more than 900 of them from Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq. After receiving a pie in the face from a protester at a film festival in Belgrade yesterday, French philosopher and author Bernard-Henri Lévy voiced his views of life in Serbia today. Lévy, who is known for his criticism of Serbian nationalist policies during the wars of aggression in the 1990s, said that Serbia was currently being led by another dictator, comparing President Aleksandar Vučić to Slobodan Milošević.
Your president is sabotaging efforts to come to terms with your history. He laments the horrors in Bosnia and Herzegovina, ethnic cleansing in Kosovo, and the media manipulation of Serbia's citizens. At the same time, your president claims to want Serbia in the European Union. Europeans understand this game and are ready to accept it, including France, taking his statements as fact without criticism.
The contract for the reconstruction of Vukovar's iconic water tower was signed today. This formally ends the fundraising drive titled Vukovar Water Tower, a symbol of Croatian unity, in which 17 countries participated. Close to €2.5 million were collected for the project, while the rest of the funds will be provided from the state budget. The water tower, which was the target of Serbian shelling during the siege of Vukovar, will be completed at the end of 2019.
We will begin works tomorrow. It is a specific structure with some extenuating circumstances. It is not a standing structure.
Croatia has made it to the Eurovision Song Contest final on Saturday in Kiev. Jacques Hodek performed the song My Friend in last night's second semi-final. He joins other finalists from Bulgaria, Belarus, Hungary, Denmark, Israel, Romania, Norway, the Netherlands, and Austria.
Take a chance, let a dream and make it real.
Taking a quick look at sports, in basketball, Cedevita Zagreb will play crosstown rivals Cibona in the final of the Croatian Championships. After Cibona swept Šibenik in their best-of-3 semi-final series, Cedevita beat Split by the same score. The defending champions hammered Split 82-52 last night. The first game of the best-of-5 final is on May 17th. And now the forecast for tomorrow. Moderate to heavy cloud cover in the morning with rain and thunderstorms, which will give way to partly sunny skies, although there is still a chance of some rain in the afternoon, primarily in the north. The coast will see a moderate westerly and southwesterly with a southeasterly in southern Dalmatia in the morning. Morning lows of 10 to 15 degrees Celsius inland, 13 to 18 on the Adriatic, will give way to highs of 20 to 25 degrees. The 3-day forecast for the interior calls for variable weather with some rain. More sun is expected on Sunday. The coast will see predominantly dry weather on Sunday and Monday, although there is a chance of some showers on the northern Adriatic. Winds will shift to a strong northeasterly at the beginning of next week. And that wraps up the news. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night.